But, and I also like to see Shawn Michaels, but I just don't think DX is going to make WWE any better. I mean, and I think it's a waste of time. You're losing a lot more in your mid-card and your roster with DX than you are.
I think Shawn Michaels needs to go back and retire and go find his smile again.
I don't know, man. I like Shawn Michaels, man. I mean, he can still prove himself in a ring. He can still, he's an actual wrestler regardless.
So anyway, like I said, 27 minutes, too long.
Too long.
That would have been 3 or 4 good matches.
Too long.
And my point right here, the actual match, the first match of Raw was Santino finally getting back into the ring.
Right.
Against The Miz, which would have been a great match if Santino would have stopped with the comedy a little bit, and actually be the real wrestler that he used to be when he first debuted.
Right.
One of the reasons why he got the IC belt so fast was because of his wrestling skills.
Right.
But now that he's the comedian, which I don't mind, I love Santino.
Right.
But leave the comedian stuff
outside the ring.
Outside the ring.
When the bell rings, you got to turn it off.
And become the wrestler that we all know when he first debuted, and against The Miz. Now, this match would have been a great match.
Yeah.
But here's my point. The match only lasted 2 minutes.
Yep.
2 minutes. Which could have lasted a lot longer if it wasn't for this Legacy and Vince McMahon crap in the front. Now, you know what? We mentioned that Vince is pissed off because, Mickie James, well, not Mickie James, but the Divas division is struggling.
Right.
Okay. He's also mad at some of the wrestlers because they're missing their marks.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see him wrestle at the main event? I don't want to ever hear that he's complaining again.
Oh, well,
he's old. You talk about somebody that's it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's still at the end of the day his product.
Yeah. Lead by example.
Exactly. Don't do it at all. Stop getting in the ring.
Right.
Stay in the back. So anyway, the next match, here you go. I mean, another violation of the PG rating. I'm gonna start calling it violations, which is the Divas match. And according to Jared the King Lawler, it's melee. But this was supposed to be the 6 Diva Tag Team Melee match, and that involved Beth Phoenix, Alicia Fox, and Rosa Mendes. Now, call me crazy, but Beth Phoenix in that little gimmick with the booty shorts.
Yeah.
She looked steamy.
Yeah.
Looked pretty hot.
Yeah.
So did Mickie James. Kelly not so much. Gail Kim just looked like another stripper. But they went ahead and they had that match. Now, again, another violation of the PG code is that Mickie James wore, she was the only one that wore a skirt. Everybody else wore like booty shorts.
Yep.
And she had a problem.
Yep.
Keep hiking up the skirt, and she kept pulling it down.
Right.
I don't mind. I loved it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Yep.
But then again, they want to go PG with it. I don't know. Are they going to reprimand her on that too?
I don't know, man.
That would make it 2 weeks in a row because she showed her unprofessionalism when what's her name, the
Gail
stripper.
Kim?
Yeah, Gail Kim knocked herself out. I thought for sure she was going to have a knot on her forehead, and that's one of the things I also tweeted on our little Twitter account, whatever, twattered, whatever. But she looked fine.
Yeah.
So.
But there's a point there. I mean, there's my point right there. I mean, that DX is taking too long. Your Divas division right now had to suffer in a 6 women's match. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
In a little gimmick match. Why? I mean, you have Mickie James, brand new champion.
Right.
You're claiming you have 36% more women base.
Right.
Why not cater to them?
Now
have a strong women's division and wrestle. Yeah. TNA's doing it.
Yeah.
And they have their own storylines without the men. Why can't the WWE do it? You have a good roster there too. They're not really strong, but they're good.
Well, because let's face it, they got the old agents working with the Divas, and I don't think they want to be in that position. That's why it struggles.
I don't know. I think it's a waste of time.
If I was an agent and I was in charge of booking,
right,
I would be happy to do the women's.
Right.
And I guarantee you, I'm going to bring the women's, at the same level as the mid-carders.
Well, I think they deserve it right now, and I think what they had to do on Monday was just a waste of time for them and was pushing them back.
Now, let me tell you this. Remember, I mentioned what you asked me, what would top last year's WrestleMania?
Right.
And I said, well, let's start it with the Divas.
Right.
They have never, ever been in a stipulation match.
Nope.
Never. And I'm thinking, the way that Melina and McCool match was back in, what was it? What match was that? I mean, what pay-per-view was that? The one we went to Nationals with.
It's the one right before SummerSlam.
The one right before SummerSlam. I can't remember what it was.
I don't know.
One of these Jabrone pay-per-views. But that was a great match.
Yeah.
Now imagine them in a steel cage, like you said.
Yeah.
Or imagine them in a ladder match, like I said.
Ooh, or a last woman standing match. Who knows?
That would be great.
Melina and McCool is such a good feud and such an aggressive feud that you can do something like that.
And then, have another Money in the Bank match with the Divas.
I think that's a little too extreme for them.
You think?
I don't think they can really handle it. I think they have the talent to do it.
Right.
I just don't think they're going to have the proper time to pull it off, and they're going to rush and probably get hurt. I don't think the WWE will give them the time they need to pull off an excellent match. I think they can do it physically. I just don't think they will get the proper time.
Next segment was DX promoting the WCW. Now let me ask you this. I thought it was a rib.
Right.
I honestly, truly thought this was stupid.
It was. There was like sound effects, like stuff was falling apart and stuff in the back,
Well,
like they were tearing things down. And that's what it was kind of like, the end of WCW. And they were like tearing stuff down in the background. You couldn't hear what was going on.
But actually, they're in Las Vegas.
Right.
They were actually doing construction there.
Yeah, but it just...
Actually doing it as they were... Why would they pick a spot while they were working there? And then if you're Vince McMahon or anybody that's near them doing the promo...
Right.
Why don't you go and yell at those guys, what the hell are you guys doing?
Yeah.
I
think it was set up. I think
arena.
it was done on purpose. I think it was... They just were kind of like clowning WCW, to be honest to me. I think they were.
Really?
And I don't think they should have. I think they should have put that DVD over. I picked it up. I loved it. It's a little boring to those who are not familiar with the old stuff, but it's an excellent, just a good DVD.
I gotta check with our in-source guy because.
But you know what? Let me tell you this: watching that DVD on how WCW started was so good and how it went so bad. WWE looks exactly the same right now.
Oh, yeah.
From what they were pulling on, what they were showing in WCW's end of their run,
right.
WWE has the same crap
going on right now.
I don't see any difference.
So does TNA.
I wouldn't say that.
Really?
I wouldn't say that.
The main event, Mafia versus
I
the
wouldn't say
NWO?
that.
Really?
No, I think their main event is totally WCW, but their show is way better.
Wow.
They have a variety of wrestlers, and they're doing just different things, man.
Well, they showed Vince, in the back with Jillian Hall dressed up as Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
I feel bad for her because
she's got to do all the dumb stuff.
Yeah.
But there's nothing else for her to do. I mean, I've never really seen her do pull off a really good match. So, I mean, if you can get paid, get paid. I mean, it's not a gimmick that really bothers me. I think it's pretty funny. It's entertaining, and it fits in anywhere in the show.
So one of my points that I want to bring out is that, okay, they promoted Floyd Mayweather to be the co-host for Raw.
Right.
And they have already almost through the half of the show already.
Right.
And they still haven't introduced him yet.
Right.
I'm thinking, okay, what is this clown doing? I mean, did he just totally disrespect the WWE and Vince by not showing up until the halfway through through.
But how was he introduced? I forgot how they introduced him. Was he a co-host? He was a host, or was a guest?
He was a co-host.
Or was he a GM?
No, he's one of those co-hosts, GM, making the matches, rules, whatever you want to call it. But he didn't make an appearance until Jericho and Show came out.
Right.
And that's when they showed him, from the big old Titantron coming in, and then here he is making his with his big old entourage was nothing but a big walking billboard for his upcoming fight.
Right.
Which I know Mayweather's going to win.
I can't wait to see that.
But I hope he gets his ass knocked out. Just because Mayweather, I know he's good.
Yeah.
But the mouth.
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
I think he fits in Raw perfectly.